Ladies and gentlemen, hello. It is Poohead Johnson back with a whiskey review taste test. Ooh, today we're going solo mode, that's right. Ethan is not here. But later we will be getting his opinion and we'll get my second opinion on my next tasting of it. We're also going to try Bullet Bourbon. Which I had a couple of days ago for the first time. Bullet Bourbon has this sort of carrot cake taste, I think. I'm still trying to get used to this. I'm still at the beginning of my whiskey journey, and I'm trying to get good at identifying different flavors. And I can sometimes do it. Yeah, I tried a couple of different whiskies the other day because I was out at some pubs. And I found that later on in the night, it was harder to distinguish certain flavours. So I had Auchentoshan, which I think is a Scotch, and I couldn't really taste anything. So there's an interesting little bit of information. Oh, and I had Jack Daniels the other day, straight. I feel like although I've had Jack Daniels in the past, I need to revisit it to know what I actually thought of it, and I liked it. I like Jack Daniels. There's a sort of peanutty nuttiness to it, which is what I like. I've heard that sometimes you can get whiskies that are described as like nutty, and that's appealing to me. And today we've got Eagle Rare Bourbon from the producers of Buffalo Trace, which we've had in the past. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, aged 10 years. I believe it's a single barrel. Well, first of all, let me just talk a little bit about Ryan's life, my updates on my life. Let's take a little sip of water. I've been doing pretty much nothing except playing video games for many weeks at this point. It's not to say I haven't been working on little things here and there, writing songs, still performing here and there live, but mostly I wanted to see what would happen if I just put on the brakes, because I was in a dark place mentally, and taking this break has actually lifted my spirits a lot. I don't think about dark, disturbing things as much. Since I've been just kind of taking it easy, taking it day by day, and kind of just living for the day rather than, I'm constantly working on projects, trying to work towards things. I'm hoping that I get success and I'm able to make a career off my creativity one day, and it's quite stressful actually a lot of the time. And it leads to breakdowns when you got your foot on the pedal for so long, Because let's face it, what realistically am I going to do in my life other than be an artist? If I can't do that, well, what am I going to do? Become a lawyer? That's not going to happen. But I played 2 gigs the other day and I got paid for it. I got paid £70 in total. Well, £80 actually. Played 2 gigs, about an hour or 45 minutes each. It's a bit of an awkward situation when you're playing for a crowd that isn't necessarily in that pub to listen to you. They're mostly there to drink and to socialise, and it feels a bit strange to try and sort of put yourself out there, you know, and there's a PA and it's fairly loud, and we even had to ask some people to move out of the way so I could set up. And they were just trying to watch the football. You know, it's a little bit of an awkward situation. Especially since if I wasn't there to perform, you wouldn't hear a peep out of me. You know, I'm not an extroverted guy. Unlike a lot of the people in that pub where you could hear them like being rowdy and they were just going up to random people socialising, you know. Whereas I am more reserved. And I suppose I even take that approach in my music. I want to draw people in, you know. I'm not trying to play crowd pleasers and get people like, alright guys, clap your hands. Because, you know, a lot of what I'm playing is like tunes from the 1920s, so that wouldn't work. Because I'd ask them to sing along and they wouldn't know, they wouldn't even know what it was. So yeah, that was good. And that contributed, the money I got paid for contributed to this. So in true blues fashion, I played some gigs for a bottle of bourbon. And also, shout out to Noah, he bought my first album digitally on Bandcamp, and this also contributed to this, so cheers, dude. Viewers, please buy my albums on Bandcamp so that I can buy more alcohol. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna just open up this bad boy. Actually, no we're not. We're gonna read it. We're gonna read on the back. Let's read what it says. Eagle Rare. Note to future self, cut that bit out. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the cornerstones of the birth of a nation, epitomized by the American bald eagle. That nation has come to represent the freedom, spirit, and independence of the individual, giving the world products and innovations that are uniquely its own. One such innovation was Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. That's right. Of all the innovations, this is it. This is the most important one. When we talk about freedom and liberty and destiny, we think of this. We think of bourbon. Early Kentucky settlers created bourbon. Didn't know that. The true American spirit in the late 1700s. Ah, yeah, that's what Donald Trump's referring to when America was great. The true American spirit back in the 1700s. By practice and protected by law, no other distilled spirit adheres to standards as strict as those established for Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskies. Interesting. And few other whiskies can offer even a glimpse of the great whiskey making found in Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare 10-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey has a sweet, oaky nose and full, complex body. Reminiscent of a fine port wine, this rare whiskey is best served neat over ice. Or over ice. Of course, feel free to drink Eagle Rare in such classic cocktails as the Manhattan or Whiskey Sour. No thanks, I won't be doing that. Distilled, aged and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Frankfort, Kentucky, USA. Interesting. So our last bunch of whiskies we've tried have been from Scotland. By the way, I want to bring something up. Last time on our whiskey adventure, we got White and Mackay. And I just want to say, it's good. Okay, Ethan couldn't really make his mind up about it. And I couldn't really at first. But it's solid. It's not as in your face. It's an easy drink. You know, you could just drink loads of this. To me, there's like a cherry bakewell flavour, or like an oaty biscuity flavour. It's really good, you know. It's good. Especially for the price. If you want, you know, this is like a go-to one for the price, I say. And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed quite a few glasses of it. Alright. Are we ready? Let's get a bit closer. So I've heard this be described as like a candied almonds flavour. I've also heard it be described as a Milky Way. You know, the chalky Milky Way, the nougaty type chocolate. And here and I've also heard that it's an array of different fruits you could pick from it. And here on Google.com, I highly recommend this website. You can learn loads. It says this: the first taste of Eagle Rare Bourbon is not particularly complex, but chewing the second time does improve it. It unveils orange, plum, more caramel, honey. I've heard honey's a part of it. And vanilla sweetness, in addition to the existing wood, pine, and mint. So apparently, because you see, I want to try, and you know, I've heard that if you read what other people say is in it, you can get an easier grip of trying to identify it yourself. You know, if somebody says, "Can you taste honey?" you sip it and you think, "Oh, that is what that is." You know. Because sometimes you taste something and you can't immediately say what that taste is. You know, you can taste it, and then maybe when someone gives you a word, you're like, "That is it." So, what I'm gonna try and do in this episode is I'm gonna look at these prompts. I've heard honey is a big part of it. I've heard, you know, like I said, candied almonds even. I've heard caramel, I've heard there's fruits, orange, citrus, and plum maybe. Vanilla. There's always vanilla. There's always some kind of vanilla in whiskey, isn't there? And I've also heard that there is like a woodiness, maybe. Like an oak influence. Or pine, it says. On the nose straight away, just from the bottle. I definitely did get like a sweetness of like a fruit. Yeah, like a plum or something, or a grape. Ooh, yeah. There definitely is kind of a... definitely vanilla. Definitely vanilla. Alright. Sorry, I'm covered in hairs. Why am I always covered in hairs? Oh yeah, I got long hair. Look at this as well. First review using this glass. This takes the nosing to the next level, baby. Nice one. You might notice the neck on this is very long and thin. So yeah, another thing I've heard about Eagle Rare is this is a bit of a mint, like a herby mint type thing, like you're in some, I don't know, swill, roll it around. Smells good. I think Ethan's gonna like this. Ethan, if you're watching, you probably are. Wow, that's a good nose. That really is a good nose. There's vanilla. There's definitely like a fruit. Some kind of fruit. Maybe it's plum. And it's a bit wine. You know, there is a bit of a wine. You know, it mentioned that there's a wininess to it. So maybe it is grape. Yeah, it must be grape. It is grape. It smells like grape, guys. Reminiscent of a fine port wine. I can relate. I'm scared. Scared to try it. Mmm. Sorry guys, I'm just enamored with this. I know I'm not really saying anything, but I'm just loving this nose. I really am liking this nose. You can smell the alcohol. It smells a bit like... Yeah, you can smell the alcohol. Right. We gotta say down the hatch, guys. Here we go. Here we go. That's good. Ethan, you're gonna like this. Oh, that's good. That's proper fruity. That's good. Now, as they say, first taste isn't particularly complex. I'm gonna need to go in again, guys, to really know what I just experienced then. Because there was a bit. At first I was like, where's this going? What is this? And then I was like, oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? Then it was gone. It was down the hatch. Whoosh. It was amazing. Interesting stuff. I definitely understand this, like, I've heard it be described as a Milky Way. There definitely is that nougatiness. What a treat. Let's go for round two. Different that time. It was different that time. There wasn't the fruity punch of the first sip I had. Instead, I think I did get more of that cask influence, although like oakness. It was interesting. Yeah, like the woodiness that time. As far as like the alcohol burn on it, it's there. It's not too bad. You know. It was a delight. You know, so like I said, on that first sip, there was could really tell that there was like, maybe grape. I want to say grape, really. Like grape juice in my mouth. Yeah. Honey. You know, they say there's honey. I suppose there is. There's always a bit of honey, you know. I think Bell's taste like honey a bit. Yeah. The finish, like the aftertaste, really is that kind of like nougat type chalky. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Is that the best bourbon I've ever had? Probably is. You know, I don't necessarily know if this is totally in your face. But there's something going, you know, there's stuff going on. I can even still taste it in my mouth, actually. I really enjoyed it. But that fruitiness, you know, it was harder to identify the more I had it. But it straight up smelled of it. You know, it just smelled like grape. The nose, like, this is I'm really liking the nose on this. Like, you could tell earlier, I was just nosing it for a while. This is one of the best noses. Cool. I'm going to be curious to know what Ethan thinks of this. I think he's going to like it. I think this appeals to his sensibilities. Yeah. That's that. Happy purchase of that. I do want to make that last, you know. I actually want to start, you know, usually me and Ethan, we down a bottle in a night. I suppose that's cool for the, you know, less pricey ones. You know, if we got a Bell's, we can just down a Bell's. But when it gets to like 30, which this was 35 quid on Amazon, by the way. When it gets around that, so you want to make it last you a couple of months, or just, what I'd really like to do is kind of build a backlog of just have an assortment of whiskies on my desk there. Because look, hold on, here we go. Still got some LeChick left, although we have had a good amount of it. I think we should really take it easy on the LeChick. Let it last us. Maybe we could even let it last us till the end of the year. You know, that'd be good. Or longer. Let's have a nose of that. Sorry, this is a tangent. Wow, yeah. And that's why this is why whiskey intrigued me. There's nuances. It's a totally different drink. Sweet barbecue sauce. It's like that's like a steak dinner in this baby. I feel like I'm having a little like roast Sunday dinner. So yeah, I appreciate both Scotch and a bourbon, but I'm all, you know, Scotch tends to be more peated. I don't know if you get peated bourbons, and I do like the peatiness, you know, like this, and like Glenmorangie was, you know, Glenmorangie is like the closest thing to just like kind of just drinking some gas or something. Kind of tastes like, but it's good. So yeah, next time, me and Ethan, we're gonna do Eagle Rare and Bullet Bourbon. Bullet Bourbon's good. I also tried Wild Turkey and I wasn't impressed. It was kind of just tasted to me like the Bullet Bourbon, but not as good. You know, Bullet Bourbon just kind of seems like a better version of Wild Turkey. So yeah, and Oh, and one more thing I want to mention is that when me and Ethan tried the Eagle Rare and the Bullet Bourbon, we will be combining them and starting our second infinity bottle. You see, we're going to have a bourbon infinity bottle and a Scotch infinity bottle. And as you can see here, we've got some. Yeah, I'm really excited for this to just grow and become more complex and interesting. Let's give it a smell. That's a damn good smell, you know. It's really a good. It's one of the best noses of Scotch. It's good. You know, you can smell that LeChick, but it's obviously got bells and white and McKay in there. I might add a bit more white and McKay. Let's just try what happens. Because I like white McKay, you know. In fact, screw it, let's have a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's not one of the best, but for the price, I really like it. It's butteriness. There's this real buttery biscuitiness to it. It's not a bad aftertaste as well. So let's see this. Nice one. Roll around. Awesome. And that's that. Eagle Rare. What a beauty. I'm happy to have it on my shelf. And that's that, folks. Me and my dad started watching Sopranos. Really interesting show. I've watched it once before, but I'm showing it to him, you know. So, you know, it'll be good to, in an evening, put on an episode, have some Eagle Rare. But I was very happy with Eagle Rare, and I'm interested to explore it again with Ethan and get his opinion. But yeah. Today's a slow day, you know. I'm just biding my time, playing some games and, you know, slowly cooking up ideas and, oops, you don't want to see that. Slowly cooking up creative ideas and trying to get the ball rolling. I'll be jamming with a friend of mine tomorrow. Shout out Terry, an old guy, plays banjo. Met him at the Neverson Inn when I was about 12 years old. You know, I've had a good couple of weeks, guys, you know. I've struggled for a long time. But I've had a good couple of weeks and, you know, I've just been playing games all day, lying around. Still going to therapy, you know. But yeah, there was kind of a lot of guilt eating away at my brain, you know. I feel guilty about the life I've chosen, the fact that I want to be an artist, you know, kind of eats away at me. It's like, why can't I just be like everyone else and, you know, work towards a career that's more stable instead of one that's a bit of a roll of the dice and the process of trial and error. But I'm too stupid to quit. But what I'm doing is lying back, taking it easy, seeing the bigger picture. And yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy like crazy. So last year I was diagnosed with ASD, autistic spectrum disorder, and the real one kind of red flag, or just kind of sign that has always been through my life that there's something neurologically going on, is that I have these intense obsessions. In autism, they call them special interests, you know. Just hyper focusing on a certain interest, a certain hobby, and you know, really becoming obsessed with it, to a point where it's just kind of essential to my well-being that I need to really spend time on these interests, kind of just absorb it like a sponge. And Final Fantasy is that for me, you know. So yeah, I've had fun with Final Fantasy V. I just finished, and that was quite special to me. I think I'm gonna replay 9, because that's the one that I don't know my opinion about it. I've heard some say it's the best game, one of the best JRPGs of all time. Others say it was kind of the beginning of the downfall of the Final Fantasy franchise, which, by the way, I don't think even exists. You know, there's a reason why JRPGs such as Breath of Fire, Wild Arms, or Grandia didn't keep the heads above the water like Final Fantasy did, and I think it's because Final Fantasy knew to evolve. It didn't just make the same game over and over again. I think that there's an element of excitement about what is it going to do next. You know, where's the franchise going to go next? What world are we going to go to next? What characters are we going to meet? And what battle system will there be? You know? But that's a tangent. This is a whiskey video. You guys don't care about JRPGs. Maybe that's what being a man's about at the end of the day. You play your video games, you drink your whiskey, and you live the Johnny Cash life, walking down a dark road with a guitar slung behind your back. That's just the way it goes as a man. I actually feel like a man right now, you know, really cool. Why am I even, you know, I'm just sort of at a point now where I'm just sort of speaking, and, you know, there's not a lot of point to it. Play the flute.